Good evening, everyone. I hope you're all healthy and making light of this dark situation that the world has dealt us recently. With the very fabric of our world tearing apart at the seams, there is seemingly no end to this anarchy that is the COVID pandemic, the war on racial injustice, and the ever-rising tension between the Republic of China and the United States. With people's optimism of a brighter future fleeting, many are angry with how uncertain their lives are. They want answers, and they want change. They're looking for someone to step up and lead them through this darkness. Today, I'll be teaching you how to vote in California. Specifically, I'll be giving you the information you need to know in order to vote in the upcoming election in 2020. To be clear, I will not try to persuade you on who to vote for, but only inform you on how to go about voting in these uncertain times. First, I'll give you a rundown on who can and cannot vote in California. Second, I'll talk about how to become a registered voter. And third, I'll share the instructions of what to do on election day. So by the end of my speech, you should understand how to vote in the 2020 presidential election. The presidential election is a general election, and unlike the primaries that occurred earlier this year in February before the shutdown, these ones actually matter. Of course, I'm just kidding, because every election is important to the future of our nation. So let us start by weeding out those who cannot participate in elections. To vote in an election, you must be registered to vote in the state you reside, which I assume for all my peers would be the state of California. According to USA.gov, in the United States, you are eligible to vote in federal elections if all the following apply. You are a citizen, you meet all the residency requirements of your state, and you are 18 years of age on or before election day. In California, in order to vote, you cannot be incarcerated in state or federal prison or on parole for a felony conviction. Now, if you are still eligible, let's get your registration. Registering to vote is the first step in voting in the United States. Since federal elections are held at the state level, registering to vote makes sure that you are in fact eligible for it. As part of the registration process, voters are required to provide their driver's license number. If they do not have a driver's license, the last 4 digits of their social security number must be provided. This is in order to verify your identity. You can register to vote online or by mail. Usually, you can find a voter registration form at your local library. With our roll-on halt and most public places temporarily closed, you can easily register online by going to registertovote.ca.gov. If you're not sure if you registered to vote, you can check at voterstatus.sos.ca.gov. According to the Secretary of State.ca.gov, the last day to register to vote is October 19th. There might be plenty of time to register to vote, but register as soon as possible in case there are any errors on your voter registration ballot. Now, assuming that all of you are eligible voters and have registered to vote in the state you reside in, let us move on how to vote. The 2020 presidential election is on November 3rd. The presidential election is always the Tuesday following the first Monday of November. And with the world in such disarray, the state of California has provided options for voters this election to preserve public health. According to CNN on May 8th, California Governor Gavin Newsom signed Executive Order N6420, which proclaims that because it is unknown what threat COVID-19 will hold on California in early November, the state will confirm that every voter will be allowed to vote by mail. Voting by mail is very simple. An official ballot is sent to your address. It has instructions on how to fill out the ballot and instructions on how to mail in your ballot. Now, this does not get rid of in-person voting. So to find your voting poll, go to sos.ca.gov/elections/polling place. It will ask what county you live in and ask for your address, and will point you in the right direction to the closest polling. According to rockthevote.org, when voting in person in California, you do not have to present a valid form of ID, unless it is your first time voting in a federal election. This identification can be a driver's license, it can be a passport, it can be insurance ID, a public housing ID, a military ID, and for any more information on what types of IDs you may use, please visit vote.org/voter IDs. Now that I've covered how to vote, it is up to you to do your research and let your voice be heard. Voting is a right that our nation gives its people. I hope by covering the basics of voting, I have given you enough information in order to rock the vote during this upcoming election. I hope all my fellow citizens will express their right to choose whichever candidate they see fit to be the face of our nation and the writers of our legislation. If you feel uncomfortable going out to the polls, keep an eye out for your official ballot by mail or in your mailbox. And remember, the 2020 presidential election will be held on November 3rd. The last day to register to vote is October 19th. Thank you.